my brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No. Fuck, I think about you when I close my eyes. Think my heart is kicking in overdrive. Should've stayed away, but I can draw the line. Fuck, you're the reminder that my heart works fine. Haven't felt this feeling in a long damn time. Should've been more careful, have I lost my mind? Fuck, you're the reminder that my heart works fine. Yeah. I think you're the reminder that my heart works fine.
For years, and I was like, so it'd be perfect. It seemed so obvious. She was just like, yeah, you look like Catwoman.
My brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No.
Can you describe about the new upcoming film, Batman?
Describe the film.
It is. It's kind of Batman going back to his detective noir roots, kind of, and it's similar if you're familiar with the comics. It's kind of like the Long Halloween or Dark Victory, when it's kind of this it's a complex tragedy mixed with this is such a bad way of describing it.
No, but
it's a bit romantic.
Oh my goodness.
I thought I was gonna do it well, and it did not come out
It started
well.
very very good.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how difficult was it for you to don your whole outfit on for both of you?
10.
Yeah, you can't really get out of it by yourself.
No,
I mean,
you need help.
Yeah, you need.
To go to the bathroom, you have to have someone come with
Yeah.
you, like a little baby.
Occasionally I would go off. Sometimes I would kind of, at the end of the day, I would try and get off myself. And then you just end up, you'd be trying and trying. If no one came to help, you'd just be sitting there, stuck in a straitjacket and have to be waiting. We spent probably 9 months under a rain machine, which was kind of not the greatest.
Awesome.
You can't hear anything.
No,
that's the only problem.
It's not awesome.
Like, we're doing scenes where you kind of have absolutely no idea when the other actor's
I just don't know why those rooms can't be heated. I don't know why it's so cold. Why?
Who knows?
I just don't. Is that, I've talked to Warner Brothers about that.
Well, I hope you guys are all warm and comfortable at the moment.
We are. It's great.
Happy to read that the choreography scene using Indonesian style of fighting. Is that true? Can you please tell us more about it?
Yes. Silat is Indonesian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Silat. Silat, it's kind of different. It's funny because it's the only martial art which you can't really use as a sport because it's all about fatal hits. And it's kind of, I thought that was so fun. I mean, and we work with this great choreographer called Rob Zoë. You're designing it to kind of, do combinations, but like every single combination in Silat, it's like, get round to the back of the head and then kill shot with the elbow on the spinal cord. And I'm like, well, it's so crazy. It's really fun though. Nothing like judo or anything like that where you're kind of, there's gamesmanship. It's literally just break the legs, kill him.
That's the point.
It's great.
I keep looking on your jawline. You had a sexy chin, I have to say.
Oh my God, the world loves your chin.
It's weird.
People are gonna go get like
a chin implant.
Yeah.
I love Judge Dredd. And
I don't know. I like Catwoman. I'm sticking with mine.
Aquaman.
Oh yeah, okay, of course. Aquaman's cool.
Just forget.
I know. Aquaman for sure.
My brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No.
Zoe's also deceptively strong for being such a tiny person as well. I'm trying to do this like sultry scene where it's like you're succumbing to his power. It's very, very difficult.
I was like, get off me. He was like,
just act a little bit, please.
I'm small, but I'm scrappy.
Were there different conversations going on set that the two of you were having during that sort of dance?
No, honestly, it was like this. This is crazy, right?
Just consistent.
Yeah. It's Batman. It's nuts.
And also kind of taking off the cowl, having to be like, Zoe's spending a lot of time saying, can you please stop sweating?
Yeah, a lot of sweat on my face from Rob's face.
Zoe, because I know a lot of previous Catwomen were so supportive when you got the role. And I was wondering, did any of them reach out to you? And if so, like, what did they say?
Not personally, but there were some wonderful and sweet messages, through interviews and online of, just welcoming me and embracing me. And, I saw Michelle in person soon after I got cast, and she just smiled and said, "You're going to be great." I was like,
good luck.
Thanks. Yeah, seriously. She was like, no, they've all been so encouraging.
You could see the sun setting behind it and stuff, and when but it's like, this has got to be like a good kiss, otherwise it's going to look really stupid. And I was relatively nervous. It's also like, I've also got an extra long nose on the end of the mask, so it's actually quite difficult.
But it becomes very technical, because it was silhouetted. We would be like, Matt would be like, turn your head to the left, to the right, to the left, up, down. We're just kind of like standing like that for
just
like an hour. Yeah.
That is such a cool t-shirt.
Is that like a Picasso Batman shirt?
Oh,
it's a Starry Night.
Van Gogh. Sorry. That's what I
Batman.
meant. That's what I
Starry
meant.
Night
Come on, it's
Batman.
been a long day, Rob.
I'm weirdly not scared of bats.
They're not scary. They're cute.
They're kind of cute, and
minus COVID.
Yeah.
I don't want to blame the bats for that.
And that scene was because it's one of the strangely difficult scenes because the suit only allows you to move your arm in a certain way, and if you're at the wrong angle and trying to twist your arm around and do kind of delicate motor functions, it's almost impossible to get the thing out of the cage. It literally took about 1 million takes to get that right. They looked so awkward. You're like, oh god.
We about to change up this whole entire energy. This is the best Batman fucking ever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ever. First of all, you are my Catwoman and you are my Batman. I was on the edge of my seat, sir. To the point where I was telling people, get away from me before I hit you in the eye. Look, let me ask you guys this. Like, during filming, what was like the surreal moment for each one of you guys that you were like, oh man, I'm really Batman, like I'm really Catwoman? Like, what was that moment individually for both of you guys?
You know what? One of the weirdest ones?
What?
There's a scene. It's kind of dumb, but it's actually true. There's a scene where I'm on FaceTime with the Riddler, and because it was really on FaceTime,
You can see yourself?
and I can see myself.
Oh, that's really funny.
I'm looking
That's
at
really
myself
funny.
in the little screen, and I'm like, this is really
funny.
strange, and that felt very, very real for a second.
Because it's also Batman doing like a normal
I know,
thing.
doing
That's
normal
really
things,
funny. That's
right.
really funny. I mean, honestly, whenever I saw Rob in the costume, it was just, the silhouette of it all and everything. It was so real, and I would get giddy, and it was, it's like seeing Batman in real life. You never really get used to it. And I also think when I unfortunately wasn't able to be in the Batmobile at all, but when I would see it, I was like, oh my God, it's the Batmobile. I mean, it's the Batmobile.
That's
so
Reminded me, the Riddler does FaceTime calls. Zoe was criticizing me because I always FaceTime instead of calling. The Riddler likes to do FaceTime too.
Yeah, and the Riddler's a psycho.
I saw it by myself in an IMAX theater.
The movie?
And there's just the screen, the still, which is just like the title. I hadn't even seen. It's now the billboard, which is everywhere. And it's the first time I'd seen it on an IMAX screen, and I walked in that, and I just had my little tiny pack of M&Ms. Sat in the middle of an empty IMAX, and it was something about the still. It was actually genuinely jarring when I walked in. I was like, oh yeah, it's we made this.
We made a Batman movie.
We made a Batman movie.
There's this moment. It's totally, I think, sums up their relationship when the security guard comes in and you have to, I have to be quiet, and it is this thing where you have your hand around my mouth, and I think my first instinct is get this person away from me, and then after a few seconds she's like, kind of like it here. Kind of like this. So it's a really,
Also,
it's a
like,
really complex
doing
dynamic.
I had to do it quite a lot, and you're incredibly strong. Like it's actually one of the most difficult things. All the fighters
holding me
just
down.
holding you still.
He's like, Zoe, it's called acting. The Batmobile is so cool.
Yeah. Also, I test drove it without knowing. I was supposed to be just going for a stunt driving lesson. And then this truck, we're like in the middle of nowhere on this, on a test driving, on like an airfield or something in the middle of nowhere, like in outskirts of London somewhere. There's no one around. And then this truck turns up and it's kind of, I mean, it really felt like a military operation.
Yeah.
No one told me the Batmobile was turning up and they just like pour it out there. And it was
God, so cool.
dusk. It was so cool. We had to do it at night because no one could take photos of it. And then do you want to drive it around? And like, I think they thought I could just drive it for like 10 meters.
Yeah.
And I just immediately drove straight off it, flooring it, trying to skid in it.
Oh my God, the panic they must have had.
It's so loud as well. I mean,
it is so loud, yeah.
It was very, very fun.
How did you foster the bond between Batman and Catwoman?
It just felt so easy, and she was kind of just felt so at home in the character. And even though she's saying, like, I'm almost certain she's feeling kind of just as terrified as I was.
Terrified.
Yeah, but it didn't look like that at all, and it made me settle into the character a little bit more as well. It just feels very correct that you're playing this part, and I'm like. And I can, I'm like in the movie being like, Catwoman. That's what's going through my head.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's Batman. Oh my God.
How did things change once you were in your Batsuit and catsuit?
I mean, I really did forget it was Rob. Like I was, I'm talking to Batman on a roof. This is crazy.
It's so transformative. You're not, it's kind of. There's so much. The outfits are so kind of iconic, and it just and the lighting on set. I mean, it's so beautiful in the movie, but it looked beautiful in reality.
True.
And it's also the weird things because we're shooting during the pandemic. A lot of the time, there's hardly any crew around, and so when we're shooting like on top of a skyscraper and stuff, you're just completely alone in Gotham, and it felt like
I would look over and see your silhouette, and I was. It's just.
Yeah.
It's seeing Batman in real life on a roof. It's like your childhood dream,
And seeing it on a billboard for some reason, that's why I was driving down the street the other day. I'm like,
that's me.
Hang on a second.
Is that
Wait, that was a real thing?
I think what made it intense was that I was auditioning for a Batman movie. And
I felt like I was still auditioning.
Yeah, and I think it's a big deal, and you get so close to something that you want so badly. It's scary. It's intense.
And you're trying to act like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be like, I don't care whether I get this part or not.
So are you interested in suiting up again?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
yeah.
I know. I was talking to Matt about it yesterday, and it's funny because he keeps saying that he's got ideas. He's like, "Yeah, we've been talking about sequels." I'm like, "Who have you been talking about to sequels?" I mean, I really want. I kind of
like, can I be in on this conversation?
Tell me what the sequel is. Yeah,
you'd be the last to know.
Definitely.
Is there something you would change about the suit, like looking back?
I mean, I got pretty good at getting in and out of it by the end, but definitely, I mean. We kind of realized, because at first we would put on each individual element separately, which would take it took like an hour and a half at the beginning. No. And then I remember Nick, the guy who was helping me get into it every day, was like, hold on a second, why are we doing this? We can just have it all attached to the suit.
Yeah.
And it's like we were putting, he was
Nick needs a promotion.
And he was taking it all out, putting it in little individual itemized boxes. It was like this, and that was like the first month of doing it. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense how we're doing this.
Thank God for Nick.
The only thing, we did a lot of scenes in the rain and trying to put on waterproof or like insulated suit that like kind of whatever it's called, which doesn't even keep the water out. It
holds the water.
It holds freezing cold water.
It holds the water closer to you longer.
And also the suits are they're really kind of quite tight as well. And so when you try and put any kind of extra layer underneath them, and you literally suddenly feel like the Michelin Man, and you kind of
you can't bend, you can't move.
You definitely don't feel kind of slinky anymore at all.
No. I do have to ask you about hosting SNL. How geeked are you to do this, and what are you most looking forward to host the show?
It's been a dream of mine for a very long time. I'm a huge fan of the show. I'm totally geeked. I'm totally scared. But I think the cast is so incredible, and I think the thing I'm looking forward to most is kind of getting the look behind the curtain and having the experience of, seeing how they come up with the skits and all of that. So I'm ready, and I'm excited and nervous.
Robert, you going to be watching, supporting, of course?
Oh yeah, for sure. That kind of man. I just found out about this yesterday. I'm like,
coming.
no
I'm
way.
coming.
And how Paul played it as well. It's just phenomenal.
Genius.
And just kind of, I mean, it's strange to do a movie where the villain. I mean, we did very, very few. I mean, I barely even met Paul throughout this entire time, and we're like doing scenes on the phone and stuff. I mean, it's really hard to kind of. There's something kind of silly about doing an entire scene on FaceTime, and Paul was just so incredible. And did the entire thing, even on when it was just my coverage. He's still in the full got saran wrap around his head, like boiling. He's like a bag of boiled shrimp.
So even though this is just the beginning of the journey for both of you, what's the most important lesson you've learned playing these characters that in 15 or 20 years you want to make sure the next kids know about?
Are we going to continue the theme of just telling people that they need to figure out how to go to the bathroom in the suits?
I don't know. I mean, it's like this. I don't think there's any way, especially with the batsuit. I don't know about you. Like as soon as you put that thing on, even if it's a new version of it, has such a kind of totemic power. But it's kind of. I mean, it just feels incredible, and you kind of and admittedly, you do think, how do I go to the bathroom? but that takes like a couple of minutes. You only realize that.
But then you're like, oh, that's why that's the one piece of advice I've gotten.
It's not
real.
your first thought when you put it on.
No, it's your third. It's your third.
I was a little afraid because it's kind of, it's a big commitment doing, if you're signing up with this, we signed up for a prospective trilogy, which I really, really hope will happen. But up until, I did 5 Twilight movies, and it's kind of, it's from 21 to 26. It's a lot, like to kind of.
5 is a lot.
It's a lot. No one even believes me. They're like, wait a second, there were 5? I thought there were 3. I am someone who likes to hold grudges. And,
you really
and
do.
I feel like I get a lot of fuel out of it. I mean, like, probably 80% of my life is to really just stick it to somebody else.
Do. We're gonna talk about this later.
And so I think there are definite kind of benefits. There's definite positives. Probably, it's a little extreme where Bruce is taking it, but I get it. And he's trying to work out I think in our telling of the story, he's got a lot of pain inside his head, and he's he's working it out on people's faces. You got to. It's unhealthy to keep it inside. you need to pummel it out.
But that's also what the movie explores, which is really interesting, is this idea of vengeance and what it means.
And I think he even Bruce doesn't particularly know what vengeance is. He's compelled to. He's just being compelled to go out on the street and fight every night because he doesn't know what else to do. Mm-hmm. The entire fight was choreographed before I even turned up, except for the last 2 punches, which I kind of wanted. I talked to Rob Alonzo and said, I really think there should be some gratuitous ones when he's clearly unconscious afterwards, just to make it. We're really going to set this up
Unhinged.
as a different type of Batman. There's something about not wanting to be too performative and saying I'm vengeance. I wanted to say it as the guy is losing consciousness, so it goes into his dreams.
Ooh, you're twisted.
Yeah. I really want his future to be really, really damaged.
You just made that scene even more insane. That's awesome.
There's during the Batmobile car chase, there's these big drums that come in, and I was just like, it's so cool when a score makes you nod your head too. I was like, this is good. But yeah, he really just brought the film to a new level.
When somebody said I'm interviewing Robert Pattinson, I was kicking myself because that's the best pun, and I'm Punter Woman. But I had to give you one, Zoe. Zoe Kravitz, right?
I'll take it. I'll take that.
So they say The Bat and the Cat, directed by Matt. I also like to say Rob versus the Mob and The Kitty in the City.
Oh my, what's going on? I don't know any of these.
I just made that up for you guys.
That was great.
They have a guy who thinks he knows everything, thinks he can see.
Like they all do.
Yes,
and also very controlling and kind of, it kind of implies that he has a slight lack of empathy. And then you have a girl who's kind of, I don't know, I guess it's the challenge for her. It's she's trying to kind of, she's incredibly independent and
Blah, blah, blah.
Who in your inner circle do you think is going to be the most emotional once they see this on the big screen?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. No one's seen it yet, so I'm a little nervous. I think my dad might be kind of
weeping.
Yeah, he keeps on calling the movie Catwoman, which I think is really sweet. He keeps on telling friends like when Catwoman comes out, and I'm like, Dad, I love you, but it's Batman. It's Batman.
Zoe, what do you have too much of currently?
Too much of? What do I have too much of? I don't know, like hoodies. I have a lot of hoodies.
Yeah.
I have a lot of shoes too. I have a lot of shoes.
Literally never seen a hoodie in my life.
Really? Well, because you see me at work. Friend request, like
did anybody ask, hey Rob, could you please leave my daughter a message in the Batman voice? Like any friend ever do something kind of?
Oh, I haven't gotten asked anything.
I think
it's coming.
I think a lot of people assume I have the suit at home, and
Which you do and you wear often.
Just kind of,
by yourself.
Yeah, and they think I can maybe turn up to
like a birthday party.
I can't ask for any favors anymore because I know that's the favor.
Right. Yep.
So you remember when I lent you $5? You gotta come to my kid's birthday party now.
On my brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No.
For you, Robert, The Batman is the first Batman movie since Batman Returns to be rated a 15 in the UK.
Is it?
Yeah.
No way! What happened? I didn't even know.
I didn't know that either.
Oh no! It's a disaster.
I'm curious to know, what do you think about that? When you were filming it, did you maybe have any suspicions that it might not crack the usual age rating?
Dark Knight wasn't a 15.
Wait, is 15?
That's
PG-13? Is that what that?
No.
What's 15? I don't understand.
Well, there's like a 12. You can be a 12 or a 15. Like, so you have to be 15 to go and say it.
Which is like, so it's like the equivalent of PG-13, but
15.
But 15. But I'm saying there's a step further.
You can't like go with your parents or whatever.
Oh wow.
That's crazy. It's funny, you have this kind of split personality moment where you put it on and you look in the mirror and you're like, damn. But then you're like, wait, hold on, that's me. and then it's continuous.
And then you go back to,
and then you're like, but hold on a second.
Selena has fallen for Batman.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what you feel on your side, but right? I mean.
Yeah, it's just the surface.
No, she
I love me when I take off my hat.
Do you think Bruce?
Is it just my hat?
Okay.
Okay, sorry, no.
No, never mind. I'm done. I answered the question.
The villains are always very complex. They always have a lot of backstory. I mean, some of them are kind of more crazy than others. But
we always love them.
Yeah.
And identify with them, right? No?
You always say you identify with the bad guys, and there's some really bad guys in Batman.
I'm just saying, like, there's some like, for example, when you watch Heath as the Joker, I'm not like, get rid of this guy. I'm I want more of him, and that's rare. Sometimes you want that person to get brought down. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you developed great chemistry on the set because it was important to those characters to have their own chemistry. But I guess you worked on that a lot.
I mean, yeah, I had to work really hard at it. I
think it's really good. You're not annoying, which is like really, really good.
Thank you so much.
You're
also not annoying.
Not annoying.
Really helpful.
That's the kind of basic minimum requirement.
That is the key, is not being annoying. It was very easy. I've known Rob for a long time, and he's such a good actor too. I think sometimes when you do know someone before, it can be distracting too. And I think to have a balance of someone that you feel comfortable with, know quite well, but then also when we would do the scenes, he would completely disappear into the character, and I think that's the best thing you can ask for. It's kind of checking all the boxes.
I agree with all that. Oh my
goodness, thank you so much. Annoying. Yeah, thank you.
What was it like putting on your costumes for the first time?
It's funny being an adult who's done a decent amount of movies and you're like, oh yeah, oh my god, I'm Catwoman. It's nuts.
You occasionally catch glimpses of your shadow on the floor and you just see two little ears popping up. You're like, wait, hold on a sec. There's something about wearing a cape as well.
Oh
that
yeah,
you
like
kind
what
of-
else do you can you get away with that?
Yeah, you wear a cape and your entire posture suddenly changes. It's very, you definitely used to go home thinking, like, maybe a cape would be,
Oh no.
I think be a nice little addition.
If you could sum up the film in 3 words, what would they be?
Dark mystery party.
On my brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No.
I'd like to start off asking you guys a question I like to ask people on dates instead of asking people for their zodiac sign, because I feel like that can be really cringy. And I love asking this question because I feel like you can learn a lot about a person based off their answer, and that is, who is your Batman?
You actually asked that on dates.
I do. Who's your Batman? I don't even know.
Really unusual.
That's a legit question.
My head was the only person who had a large enough head for me to fit into the cowl was Clooney, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everyone else, I did not realise that everyone else has quite small heads. And, but I didn't fit into the, so it's not really what you're asking. But like,
no, this is fascinating.
But yeah, when I got into so because you could judge it, the most important thing was the cowl. I could only fit into Clooney's cowl, but then his suit I could not fit into. And so I kind of had like a very vulnerable midsection, kind of groin area.
You're saying Clooney was tight in the groin?
No, it's just I think he's a little bit
Big in the head, tight in the groin.
I thought Clooney was really tall. Like I mean,
That's what I would think, like 6'1" or something.
Yeah, and
Clooney hates you right now. Zoe, who's yours? Rob's my Batman.
It's gotta
my
be.
Batman.
Yeah.
Will you be my Batman? Sounds like Valentine's. Say yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, thanks.
There's so much room for this Batman to grow to.
Yes.
It's really
Big time.
I think you
It
come away
needs
from
that.
this
This
film.
is what it's the setup
We want to
is.
see the
Another
evolution
step.
of Bruce Wayne in this big time.
He's a giant party boy.
No, I'm really that is something I think,
Batman.
but I think because you're such a recluse, Bruce is such a recluse in this film, to see Bruce evolve into the person that knows he has to perform and be on a yacht with some, like that's a really fun journey to go on. I really, no,
And
truly.
Alfred's like, you need to be Batman again. He's like, I'm at a part. I'm at fashion.
I'm having a
week."
mojito.
On my brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No.
And what was your favorite part about working with Robert Pattinson?
Oh, Rob's wonderful. He's just, I mean, he's a lovely human, which just makes going to work so much easier, but he's also such an interesting and bold actor. He makes really strong choices. He's not afraid to take chances, and it makes working with him so fun.
From the screen test, it was so obvious it should be her. I mean, even when you think about this, you can see a photo of her and be like, I mean, that's Catwoman. It's obvious. And she lived up to and beyond any expectation I had of her.
Oh, Rob's amazing. He's such a kind person. He's such an amazing actor. I think he makes such strong and brave and bold choices, and he's also just a fun human being. And it's sometimes hard to find that combination of someone who's so light and funny and also so good at what they do. So it's just a delight.
I mean, luckily, I've known Zoe for about 10 or 11 years. So I think even on the screen test, her screen test, I was still thinking I could get fired at any moment. But just knowing that, you know, she's not going to judge me too harshly, like as I figure out the character, it was kind of a relief.
And your chemistry with Rob, what was that like?
Oh, he's a wonderful actor, and he's someone who I've known for a long time. But I was really in awe of his ability to completely disappear into this character. I would forget that it was him sometimes, which was amazing.
And your chemistry with Zoe, how's it feel to you?
I mean, she's wonderful. Like, we did the screen test together, and she was just, I mean, I've known Zoe for ages, and I kind of, as soon as Matt said her name, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of obvious.
It's a no-brainer, right? Yeah.
And she came in, it was just so at ease with the character immediately, such a hard worker, and like really fun, and you know, it's a hard shoot, shooting during the pandemic. It's tough, and like to have someone who's really cool and has a really good attitude is great.
On my brain's fighting the reaction. Million reasons why it won't happen. Try to numb myself with distractions. No. Fuck, I think about you when I close my eyes. Think my heart is kicking in overdrive. Should've stayed away, but I can drop the line. Fuck, you're the reminder that my heart works fine. Haven't felt this feeling in a long damn time. Should've been more careful, have I lost my mind? Fuck, you're the reminder that my heart fireworks,